Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. The president announced plans today for tough steel tariffs, also tariffs on imported aluminum. Wall Street absolutely hated it. Markets tumbled in response, more than 400 points. But what does that mean? Does that mean that all trade deals are fair? The status quo should never change? In a minute, we'll talk to the top White House trade advisor about what their plan is and what it means for you. But first, the president's core supporters put up with a lot from day to day. We don't need to be specific about that. You know exactly what we're talking about, starting with the tweets. We won't go on. But the shortcomings of this administration are clear. They're usually worth it, though, for two reasons. First, the ideas the president ran on are basically right. America First ought to be the operating principle of every American administration. By definition, it's an American administration. America should be first. But that's not the motto of most administrations, not even hardly. Second, the alternatives to what we have now are scary and getting scarier. The Democratic Party is completely irresponsible and increasingly anti-American. They prefer illegal aliens to our middle class. That's true, and it's terrifying. And someone needs to defend the country from these people. Trump mostly does that. So for these reasons, most of the president's supporters have stuck by him no matter what has happened, and a lot has happened. But there's a limit to the tolerance. They will not tolerate, and they shouldn't have to tolerate, by the way, betrayal on the core promises of his campaign. And that seems to be happening on guns, unfortunately. A few days ago, the president called for raising the minimum age for buying a gun to 21. By the way, that's 4 years after we let people join the military. They can join at 17. But he's saying you can't buy a gun until you're 21. Now, nobody's even arguing this will save actual lives because there's no research that it will. It's propaganda, and it's sneaky propaganda, by the way. It's an incremental step toward more gun restrictions. That's all it is. And then yesterday, the president went even further than that. He met with lawmakers to talk gun control at the White House. At that meeting, he went after Republicans who want to defend the Second Amendment, suggesting they're puppets of the NRA. At one point, the president said the government should, quote, take the guns first, go through due process second. Now, I mean, how honest do you want to be? Imagine if Barack Obama had said that. Just ignore due process and start confiscating guns. Well, Obama would have been denounced as a dictator. We would have denounced him first, trust me. Congress would be talking impeachment right now. Someone would be muttering about secession. Well, the media agreed with what the president said yesterday, so they've underplayed it, or they presented it as just a little battle between the president and the NRA. But it's not about the NRA. It's not even about the president. It's about the Constitution, and the Constitution remains the same no matter who's in power. That's the point of the Constitution. The Second Amendment protects your rights to bear arms. It doesn't say that obliquely or metaphorically. It says it explicitly, and the Supreme Court several times has interpreted it that way, explicitly protecting your rights to bear arms. You can't lose that right or any other right. The right to worship freely, the right to say what you want without due process, period. Those rights are what make us citizens and not mere subjects of the powerful.